We are a blend of tradition, heritage, creativity, which cannot be handed over to technology, has to come from human eye, experience, the taste level of our designers, their experience, what they see when they see magazines, trend books, customers, shop windows, anything, the nature. We have beautiful colors in the nature. That element, that human element, is very important, and we want to make sure that this comes across. Even as you approach our company, you see it doesn't look like a factory, it almost looks like a cottage. And the ambiance and the boiserie makes you feel like you really are in a place of tradition and history, and this is very important. Brands invest in people, craft and long-term vision, which are key elements for the success, I believe, both for Clements and Church and for Tallia di Delfino.
Thanks for showing us around the mill today. It's an excellent facility. I really couldn't help but notice how sort of the history is embedded in everything that Delfino does. So I was wondering, could you sort of fill in a bit more about the history of weaving, especially for Delfino?
I think Delfino, Tallia di Delfino really means or represents or tries to represent at best of its abilities the Biellese, the Italian textile heritage. This is a company that was founded in 1903, so it has a fairly long history. And one of our main assets is that we were able, throughout the various changes and throughout the years, to remain true and loyal to our original DNA, which is, in essence, producing and proposing mostly, although not only, menswear fabrics of quality and with a certain level of distinction and sophistication.
One of the things that I've always liked about your fabrics is that they are obviously of extremely high quality, as I'm obviously wearing one today as you wear.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for that. Yes.
But I've always found that the sort of the DNA of your fabrics, it always has quite a punch to it. You can tell sort of the rich blue of your suit, sort of the deep hues on this particular fabric.
Yes.
Is that something that you sort of really like to push into all your collections?
Yes. Well, traditionally, Taglia di Delfino was always known and considered one of the main players or one of the main mills for jacketings. A lot of the Biellese textile companies focused, or still to this day, do a lot more in terms of suitings, whereas Taglia di Delfino always did, obviously, also a range of suits and overcoats and all the other items which we normally carry in our collections. But jacketings have always been a focus, a special focus in our DNA, and therefore we carry therefore a tradition, extensive color cards, a lot of different yarn counts and yarn types, which are needed to do a proper jacketing range. And that, in a way, you can say, it still transpires down until today, and you can still see that in our color cards and in our, as you said, the punch, the punch which you find in our collections. It's a sophisticated collection, I think, but always with a little bit of a twist, and I think that's very important.
One of the things that I find from sort of my side of the industry is that a customer will come in and say, I'd like a blue suit, and it's got a standard question. And I remember from a few years ago, I think we were discussing, you have some silly number of blues.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you that storage holds more than 4,000 different colors and yarn counts and items. So that gives you a little bit of the span of the amount of materials we use for our collections.
The main thing is that blue isn't just blue.
No.
There's a lot more to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's sort of the thing that we, from a brand perspective, had to sort of deal with is that we come to see you, and we go, oh, we'd like a blue fabric for spring summer 27.
Yes.
And then the question is, oh, here's your 48 different
Yes.
blues. Which one do you think you would like
Yeah.
for your clientele? It's quite an enjoyable part of my job. So I was thinking, from your side, when you have to sort of reinvent your collection every 6 months,
Yes.
how do you judge which colors should go into into that collection?
Well, thank you. And on this, I speak on behalf of our very capable and very dedicated design team. It's a combination. There is an element which is outside contribution, trend books, magazines, seeing our customers' collections. And then there's an element which comes from inside, from inspiration. Every 6 months, or I would say now almost continuously, our designers have to find it within themselves to find, for example, as you were saying, the right tones of blue which are okay for this particular season, which interpret the current trend. Don't forget that we sit on over 120 years of archives, which are just in the next room next to us. So very often they come, they go through the books, they might take a particular year as an inspiration and take that and transform it into a product which is updated and suitable for the needs of today. For instance, in the past, fabrics were much heavier, as you know. Now everything has to be lightweight because we hardly spend time outside. We are sitting on cars, offices, planes, taxis, everything is much more comfortable from that point of view. So weights have to be lighter and fabrics have to be more comfortable.
What is it about Clements and Church that you particularly like?
Well, I think from the word go, I think we found a lot of common ground. I mean, common values, which I think is the right word. Common ground in terms of both the attention and the value we give to sartoriality, sophistication, and offering a product which stands out within the market without being over boisterous, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Like discreet, quiet luxury, which I think is real luxury, incidentally, but that's my opinion, which I know a lot of us share. So I think we found common ground because we share that view and that approach and that understanding of a luxurious product. That's the foundation of our relationship, which has lasted, as you say, over 15 years. And over the 15 years, a lot has changed, but these things have remained the same. We are still, I think, a valuable partner for you, and you are still a very valuable partner and customer for us, not only because of the business we do together, but the way we do the business together and what you appreciate in our collections. I don't want to, I'm not lip servicing you, but it doesn't happen very often to have customers with whom you have a relationship which goes beyond the order, the price, the delivery, the technicalities of our job.
I think one of the things that I noticed working, especially with you at Delfino, is that you've always put your people first.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that we've always tried to achieve at Clements and Church. And I've always found that no matter what level in the company anybody's been talking to each other, that they all seem to get on and work together. It's not, as you said, it's not transactional. It's a proper relationship.
I believe there is a lot of importance and there's a lot of value in what the person can bring to the activity of the company. So our job, respectively, is to be able to find the right people for the right and put them in the right position, so that they can express themselves and do the best possible service for the company. That's a very important element. Of course, as we were saying before, as we were walking through the mill, there are other aspects of our job which are fundamental for our success. The technology which allows us to have good quality fabrics delivered on time. But in the end, it's people before the machine. Maybe that is just too simple of a statement, but in a nutshell, I think that's what it is.
I totally agree. So we just shot our spring collection in Rome, and I was wondering, is there any particular parts of Italy, whether it be Rome or Biella, that Delfino sort of uses to inspire the collections that you create?
We are lucky. Everywhere you turn in Italy, you find source of inspiration. And I think when referring to a particular city, it might have more relevance for you than for us. We are taking inspiration from cities, but maybe more from historical eras, or a certain type of elegance which was popular at one particular time throughout history. For instance, that's another element of inspiration from us and from nature. So when it comes to cities, really everywhere is technically a good source of inspiration. Of course, when we're talking about Rome is wonderful, and Rome has a very, very particular light which you can only find in Rome. Don't ask me how it is. Maybe it's the color of the buildings, I don't know. But when you go to Rome, there's a certain light, which I'm sure you have used to the best of for your benefit when you shot your beautiful campaign. Florence, Venice, the nature, really, everywhere you turn, we can find inspiration, absolutely.
So obviously we're in the luxury sector of the fashion market.
Yes.
And the world's been very much fast fashion over the last few decades.
Yes.
Obviously, that's not the area that we're in.
No.
How do you see the luxury sector going forward over the next few years?
It's just my opinion, but I think the real value of luxury is understatement, comfort, and being at ease with yourself. So these are, I think, the key elements of real luxury. Not when we see luxury as a true expression of oneself, and not just as a price tag, if you understand what I mean. So if I think of what we do in this company, we try to use the best materials. We try to blend them in the best possible way, in a way that we create a cloth that can be transformed into a garment which has an element of distinction, which is luxurious in terms of materials and in terms of appearance, that is very comfortable. And comfort comes from beautiful fibers, natural fibers, who allow you to be cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Let's not forget that element. And that allow you to be really at ease with yourself in every situation. This is what luxury should be. Of course, luxury is expensive, because when we're talking about the best raw materials and the best possible production cycle to produce them, whether it is the yarn which we then use, whether it is our fabric, whether it is your garment and the way you produce it, of course that carries with it a certain price. But the price is the reflection of the value. That's the key element of justifying an expensive price. So luxury is being able to afford a garment, in your case, that allows you to be well dressed, comfortable, true to your own nature in every situation.
One of the things that I've noticed within the cloth sector of our industry is that when I sort of first started, it was all about the supers. We're going to go from a super 110 to a super 120 to one, and it sort of ratcheted up into the 200s.
And above that.
And it got to the point where it was so fine you couldn't wear it.
Yes.
Whereas I think the industry then moved into making fabric that was more wearable. So natural stretch, a little bit of elastane, those sorts of things. And from my side of the market, that the ability to be able to dress our customers so they look extremely sharp, but feel like they're wearing a tracksuit,
Yes.
for a better phrase, that's what they're after. They want to be comfortable yet smart. And I think when you've got excellent fabrics like you produce, and then tailored in the way that we tailor them, you can actually achieve that goal,
Absolutely.
which you can't do if you've not got fantastic fabric.
I agree entirely, and it reflects very much the way our collections have been developed, particularly in the last few years. We are matching, we are trying, and we're doing actually a lot of work, and we're picking up a lot of business, I have to say, in the direction of beautiful raw materials matched, paired with beautiful performance. So we have, as you know, we have a whole segment of our collection which is called Dolce Vita. And the reason why we call it Dolce Vita is because if you picture the film La Dolce Vita from Federico Fellini, if you remember, Mastroianni was beautifully dressed but acted with complete nonchalance, to the point where they ended up bathing in the Fontana di Trevi. So the idea of elegance, but not a stiff elegance, is what we are trying to convey with that line of product. And what it is, in essence, is beautiful fibers, Super 150s and above, with a treatment which allows the fabric to be stretchy in both ways without the use of any synthetics. We don't use lycra, we don't use synthetics by definition. We only use natural fibers in Tallia di Delfino. But again, as you were saying, the cloth, the garment, the suit allows your customer to be perfectly dressed, but to be able to move very freely, to be comfortable as if they were wearing a tracksuit, exactly as you pointed out.
I mean, the way we used to sort of try and square that circle before we sort of started getting these more performance fabrics is you had to hand make it. So if you handmade it, then all the seams were sewn by hand, so they had a bit of give. And that's the only way that you could really get anywhere close to that sort of level of comfort. Whereas obviously now with the fabrics, to the way that you produce them now, you get it throughout the whole garment. It's not just in the seams, which I think our clients really do enjoy. And also it means that when you're getting in and out of the car, you're not having to hike your trousers up and so on and so forth. On your fabrics, am I right in saying that the Dolce Vita is a doppio ritorto fabric? Or is
it can be, it doesn't have to be. I mean, we have qualities which are both doppio ritorto and single weight. It depends on various other factors. We are able to apply that finish to a series of different fabrics. Doppio ritorto, again, thank you for mentioning, this is really one of the signature features in the collection, in the product that we do here at Tallia di Delfino, and is in essence a symbol of sophistication and a way that we show that we are still doing fabrics with respect, honoring our history and the heritage.
What I love about doppio ritorto with my clients is that they can look fantastic, get in their car, drive to work, get out the car, and still look fantastic.
Absolutely.
Because it really reduces the creasing. I mean, it will crease at some point.
Yeah, of course.
But it massively reduces the creasing. So you can get off a flight, get out your car, and still look like you've just put your suit on.
Absolutely. And let's not forget that going lighter in weight, this feature becomes even more relevant.
Yeah.
Because the lighter the fabric, the more delicate, and therefore it creases more easily. So if you use a doppio ritorto lightweight cloth, you have the advantage of a lightweight fabric without the downside of a cloth which will wrinkle more easily. Absolutely.
So what synergies do you see between Clements and Church and Delfino?
well, a shared vision. I think we see luxury in the same way. And what I mean by that is we share passion and appreciation for quiet, understated luxury. Like your collections are very beautiful, but also very wearable. You don't do a collection which has to impress, but then doesn't fit in anybody's wardrobe. You see what I mean? You don't sell a piece for somebody who just wants to look extremely noticeable one evening and then puts the jacket away and doesn't know when to wear it again. And to a certain extent, I think that very much corresponds to what we do with our collections. We always try to innovate, but we are always careful not to disrupt or not to misrepresent where we come from. Our innovation is more in the lines of sophistication, refinement, instead of shocking the market with innovation which might be in the end just a one-off.
Yeah.
Something
So evolution, not a revolution.
Exactly. Has to do also with the type of customer base we work with and the type of product which we do. If we were doing a ladies wear collection, for instance, then we would have to innovate a lot more, because ladies wear by definition wants something completely different every time. Menswear tends to stick to the same basics, but refines them and polishes them, if you like, through the seasons. And that's very much what we do. And I think in the essence, it's what needs to be done when you want to represent and be true to your roots without forgetting that you have to move forward every season.
Well, just to say thanks again for lending us your time and showing us around the mill. And I'm really looking forward to showcasing your materials in our Spring/Summer 26 collection.
We're very happy that you came to see us, and we're happy to share, as we said, a common vision of where we're going for both of our companies, and compliments for your collection. We are happy to be part of it, and we can't wait for you to tell us how successful it was. That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much.